Good morning. It is Saturday, January 24th, 9 o'clock in the morning. Here in the Storm Center, I'm meteorologist Borowski for the South Carolina Emergency Information Network, and we are tracking a winter storm that is nudging closer to our state, expected to bring freezing rain and wintry impacts tonight, tomorrow, and cold weather into the start of the work week. So let's jump right to graphics right now and take a look at what's going on across the country. There is our winter storm on radar, and it is quite the wide storm. We've got snow anywhere from eastern New Mexico all the way eastward to Virginia and to the Carolinas. So almost a 1,500-mile wide storm right now, impacting a good portion of the mid-Mississippi Valley with snow, the lower Mississippi Valley with freezing rain, and even parts of Texas, the Texas coastline, with some heavier downpours right now, right along the Gulf. I'm going to jump over to current temperatures across our state right now, and most of us are sitting above freezing. Take a look in the upstate. We're near freezing. We're in the mid-30s toward Greenville, the I-85 corridor, Rock Hill as well. We're at about 35 degrees. But from the Midlands eastward, sitting in the lower 40s and down, of course, toward the coast of the Low Country. We're in the lower 50s this morning. So chilly, but not below freezing yet. On radar, we do have a nose of just a light shower shield coming on into the upstate, close to the I-85 corridor near Clemson and Anderson. We might not even be seeing drizzle reaching the ground, but notice on our radar scan we do have some of those pinks barely nudging their way into the state, and that's indicative of either sleet or freezing rain at the moment. But for the most part, on our radar scans, we're looking pretty good across the state. Let's take a look, though, at what we're expecting to occur really over the next 24 to 36 hours. So today actually not looking too bad. If you're finalizing plans, get them done, I would say, over the course of the next several hours, because on Futurecast we can see that we do expect freezing rain to nudge into the upstate later on this afternoon into the evening. Couple of pockets of freezing rain possible across the Midlands and the PD and along the I-95 corridor right around dinner time tonight. Notice our temperatures start to drop off as we get into the evening hours, falling into the upper 20s across the upstate, near 30 in the Midlands, and then above freezing, though, this evening right along the coastline of the PD and the Low Country. As we get into the overnight hours, notice we're approaching the midnight hour here on this run of Futurecast. That's when we expect heavier freezing rain to move into the mountains and possibly as far east as the Midlands. Really, during the overnight hours is when we'll see that first batch of freezing rain accretion through just about dawn tomorrow morning, give or take a few hours, and then we get a little bit of a break. Couple of pockets of freezing drizzle are possible tomorrow during the mid to late morning hours, but we should actually get a break. Now, if you see a break on radar, or in this case in Futurecast, don't assume that it's going to be safe to be traveling during these time periods, because there will likely be ice on the roads if this run of Futurecast verifies with the overnight freezing rain. So not a good idea to be traveling even if there is a break in the freezing rain, because we do expect another batch to move in from northwest to southeast, likely tomorrow evening through just about the midnight hour shortly thereafter on Monday. So you can see I'll backtrack here just a little bit and we'll go forward. So during the mid to late afternoon tomorrow, our next batch of freezing rain approaching the upstate and then moving on eastward to the Midlands around dinner time. One of the difficulties with the forecast for tomorrow evening is going to be the temperature profiles. You'll notice here, I mentioned it last night as well, we have pinks on our Futurecast, but we also have green colors on the Futurecast as well. The model is trying to figure out if this is going to fall as freezing rain or if it will fall and land as totally liquid precipitation or rain. The problem here is figuring out exactly where our temperatures are going to fall tomorrow, because we do expect a little bit of a nose of warm air to move northward from the southeast, from the vicinity of Georgia, Florida, and the Gulf. How warm we actually get and if we have freezing rain tomorrow night or liquid rain remains to be seen. So that's why you see these colors kind of arguing with each other on Futurecast for tomorrow night. But as we move into the overnight hours, about midnight onward, we see precipitation potentially transition all to rain. As we get to early Monday morning, the system going to eventually push off the east coast of the PD and the Low Country, possibly before dawn. So we could see the system move totally out before dawn tomorrow. Notice our temperatures nudge upward and we actually get above freezing. Excuse me, I said before dawn tomorrow. I meant before dawn on Monday. But notice our temperatures move above freezing before dawn on Monday. So a little bit of nudge of warm air, which is what's making this forecast difficult for the Sunday night, Monday scenario of freezing rain versus rain. But something else to talk about of what's going to happen once this system leaves. Temperatures dropping during the afternoon hours and into the evening hours Monday into Tuesday. Behind this system, we get a blast of Arctic air moving in from the Canadian Prairie provinces, and that will send temperatures plummeting for Tuesday morning and wind chills plummeting. I just want to show you what we're looking at right now. We could likely fall into the teens or the single digits by dawn on Tuesday across the Midlands and especially the upstate. It will be a very frigid morning Tuesday morning once our precipitation is totally out from this storm system, but we do expect residual wetness on roadways, residual ice accretion that will likely refreeze as these temperatures drop off. So that's kind of the holistic overview of what we're looking at really over the next day or two. I want to jump to alerts right now. We talked about this yesterday. We'll look at it again. Our winter storm watch is now totally gone. Now we're at our winter weather advisory threshold and our ice storm warning threshold. So ice storm warning in effect for the I-20 corridor, north and west into the upstate, and PD and the Low Country both have a winter weather advisory in effect today through Monday. Notice we do expect impacts from this storm, significant impacts from this storm, really everywhere except for the immediate coastline where we'll have a little bit of moderation in temperatures thanks to the Atlantic Ocean. Rob, do we have any questions right now? Feel free to type in your questions if you have any questions about the forecast, what we can expect, travel safety. Feel free to type it out there and we can address those questions for you. That's what we're here for, and we'll be here for you all weekend to answer your questions. So feel free to type and I'll try to address them as much as I can. I've been getting questions about if the temperature is going to fall, at least today and then on Monday, why aren't we going to get snow in the upstate? Well, like I mentioned, temperatures in the mid-levels of the profile are actually going to warm up a little bit, and that's going to give us this freezing rain scenario that I have up on the screen. You can see freezing rain. We do have a little bit of a nose of warm air causing temperatures to rise in the mid-levels, and even though at the surface we might have sub-freezing temperatures, that will allow our liquid precipitation to freeze on contact. So if we wanted snow, we'd need the entire profile of the atmosphere from the cloud to the ground to be at or below freezing, and that's not going to be the scenario for us for this particular storm. I do want to show you this full graphic of what we are expecting in terms of freezing rain totals. This model has changed for the better for us over the past 12 hours. Yesterday we were looking at maybe a ½ an inch accretion. We've seen a little bit of a drop off toward the upstate. Now Greenville expecting about 0.3 of an inch. This might change again, but I do like the trend right now. We've seen a couple of models back off a little bit on ice accretion, but I don't want us to think that we're in the all clear. 0.3 of an inch is a lot of ice, and it will cause significant travel impacts. So stay put is what I think the best recommendation would be throughout this storm. I think we have a couple questions coming in, so Rob, go ahead.
We do. We have Kimberly who's asking ice totals in Irmo.
Sure.
Any idea what that might wind up being, what the model says?
Could you spell that town name?
IRMO.
IRMO. Well, Kimberly, I've got to look up on the map exactly where we are there. Okay, so we're north and west of Columbia. Gotcha. All right, let me jump back to my graphics really quickly, and we'll go from our analysis over to our ice totals, and I will zoom in and see if I can get you a pixel query amount. So let's take a look. I'm going to zoom in. I don't know, actually, I'm going to go to a different map so I get a better zoom in here and I can see my cities populating. So let me go forward in time. There we go. All right, I'm going to take a little pixel query tool here that I have on my graphics system, and we're going to give you an exact point amount. So 0.07 of an inch Still impactful. Still, I would avoid not traveling once the ice is falling and once it refreezes. But 0.07 of an inch is the official forecast to the north and west of Columbia as of this latest model run that we have on our in-house graphics system. Any other questions coming in right now, Rob?
Johnny says Goose Creek.
Goose Creek. All right.
These are some fun ones.
Second. I know. I love the local locations. Give me 1 second so I can pull this up and zoom it in. Let me get back down here. Whoops. It's a little bit clunky for me to be able to do this. I got to click out of my pixel query tool and get down. Oh, yeah. I wouldn't expect anything too much in the way of accumulations. Oh, there we go. I got it to load it here on Goose Creek. I wouldn't expect too much in the way of accumulations down closer to the coastline of the PD and the low country. You might get some pockets of freezing drizzle, but nothing for official accumulations down toward Goose Creek and Charleston.
Okay, so now we have more coming in.
Oh boy, all right.
So this is going to test your skills on how fast you can work the technology. So Newberry.
All right, give me 1 second. Let's see.
And look, the ones we can't get to on the broadcast,
we'll
we will
answer afterward.
on.
Yep, absolutely.
Yes.
All right, let me see if I can get Newberry to pop up here. Yes, I can. Zoom it in, Interstate 26. Let's get the pixel query tool back up. Whoops. Forgive me for the little over 1/10 of an inch, 0.15 of an inch, which, again, that's pretty impactful for our total ice amounts. Again, we might see this change. We might see a little bit of it melt Sunday night into Monday morning as our rain comes through, but anything that's lingering Monday night into Tuesday is what we could see refreeze and cause additional problems, especially on roadways. Any other locations now?
We'll do a couple more if you're okay with that, Megan.
Sure.
Sumter.
Yep. Give me 1 second. Let me pull that up as well. I got 2 tabs going on here. Let me get back over here and pull us over. Let me get to Lake Marion. That's kind of there we go. I can see Sumter right now. Whoops. Pixel query there, just a glaze. Not too bad, but nonetheless, a glaze on roadways still is impactful, and I certainly am not going to be driving.
More fun on a donut for sure.
Yep.
McCormick.
Give me 1 second. Let's pull that up.
Thank you, Heather, for that question.
Absolutely. Let's see. Let me get down toward. Ooh, I wonder if this is going to, yes, it does pop up. I've got this raised region right here. As you can see, I have the state kind of raised so you can see it better. I was wondering if McCormick was going to pop up, but it does, which is great. 0.06 of an inch, again, not as much as we're expecting in the upstate, but your official forecast there is about 0.06 of an inch. Again, I wouldn't be out there with my ruler verifying it to the exact hundredth, but you can get the general idea of what we're expecting closer to the border with Georgia. I'm going to pull up, Rob, here. I have South Carolina Department of Transportation webcams that I pulled up. I've also, they've got a great website if you want to check it out, where you can actually overlay the current radar and webcams on the roadways. And, we did mention on radar, we have a little bit of a light shield of perhaps some freezing drizzle reaching the surface and some light rain reaching the surface. I just wanted to check out roadways in the vicinity. Last time I checked, we're doing pretty well. There aren't a whole lot of cars or trucks on the road, which is great. You can see on our roadways, it looks like we might have, I don't know if that's pre-treatment that we're seeing there or maybe just a little bit of wetness on the roadways. But overall, as the system moves in, of course, we've not had too much in the way of accumulations yet, which is good. But overall, across the state, I looked, roadways are looking pretty good in terms of volume. Not a whole lot of people out, which is great. I would say if you can be in the position where you can kind of hunker down and stay home today as the storm approaches, and of course as the storm is moving on through, I would suggest doing that. It looks like on I-95, per usual, there's some incidents, but I don't think those are weather related. We do hope that everybody involved in those are okay. And if you maybe are planning on traveling on I-95, keep in mind you might be encountering some traffic along the interstate and also closer to the border with Georgia and then also near Lake Marion. So keep that in mind. But overall, volume not looking too bad, and we're really not seeing anything in the way of impacts yet. But of course, that will likely change as we see our first shield of precipitation come on in. I'm going to look at future track for us one more time, and then we will start to wrap things up before our next one coming up around lunchtime today. So just a quick view, again, of Futurecast, what we're expecting to happen over the course of the day. Light wintry mix, freezing drizzle, perhaps developing across the Midlands during the afternoon and evening hours today. Our bigger rain shield going to come in closer to the upstate and the border with North Carolina during the evening. You can see those temperatures dropping below freezing at the surface. During the late evening and overnight hours is when our heaviest accretion should occur, at least during this first batch. We see that freezing rain anywhere from the upstate all the way to the I-95 corridor in the PD early tomorrow morning before dawn. We get a little bit of a break during the mid-morning hours. Of course, there's some pockets of freezing drizzle that will be possible. And then our second batch comes tomorrow night into Monday morning, and that's where we could see a mix of rain and sleet or a mix of rain and freezing rain before the bulk of our storm system moves offshore before dawn on Monday. So that's what we're looking at right now. We might see the models change a little bit over the course of the day, but we'll be in the storm center tracking radar, tracking satellite, tracking any changes in the forecast, and watching for your questions on Facebook and on YouTube. So feel free to write those in. We'll be back a little bit later today and this evening with multiple more live streams, and also tune into your local PBS station for television updates on the storm. Signing off for now. We'll see you in a little bit. I'm meteorologist Megan Borowski from the South Carolina Emergency Information Network.